What if Earth suddenly stopped spinning? This question comes from, well, a lot of people, because it's one of those end-of-the-world ideas that never quite leaves the imagination. What if Earth suddenly stopped spinning? Let's start with what "suddenly" means here. We're not talking about the planet gradually slowing down over millions of years. We mean, at this exact instant, Earth goes from its current rotation, about 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator, to zero. No warning. No gentle braking. Just bam. If you're standing anywhere on the equator, you're currently moving with the surface at 465 meters per second. If Earth stopped, you wouldn't. You, your chair, your house, the entire atmosphere, everything not firmly bolted to the planet's solid crust, would keep moving at that speed until something stopped it. That something would probably be the ground, a wall, or, for the unlucky ones near tall buildings, a lot of concrete. At mid-latitudes, the speed would be lower, but still several hundred kilometers per hour, easily enough to turn you and everything around you into high-speed projectiles. It would be like the entire world being inside a giant car that slams on the brakes instantly, except the car has no seatbelts and the windows are made of mountains. The first few minutes would be a chaos of wind and debris. Because while the solid Earth stopped, the atmosphere did not. Massive shock waves of air would rip across continents, with winds at least as fast as your previous rotational speed. That's well above hurricane force. It would flatten forests, shred cities, and turn every loose object into shrapnel. But let's imagine, for the sake of curiosity, that you somehow survive the initial global-scale car crash. The next problem is that our planet's rotation does more than just give us day and night. It helps shape Earth's shape. Right now, the spin causes the equator to bulge outward, making Earth slightly flattened at the poles. If the spin stops, gravity will slowly pull the equatorial bulge back toward a more spherical shape. This will take hours to days for water to react and much longer for the crust. But for the oceans, react means go on the move. Millions of cubic kilometers of water will rush away from the equator toward the poles, flooding enormous regions and draining others. What is currently Florida, for example, could be dry land, while northern Canada could become an inland sea. Meanwhile, the loss of rotation means a total change in how we experience time. A day would now last as long as one orbit of Earth around the Sun, about 365 days. That means half the planet would face 6 months of constant sunlight, slowly roasting under unrelenting heat, while the other half would endure 6 months of freezing darkness. In the long day half, average temperatures could rise above boiling in tropical regions. On the long night half, the cold would be enough to freeze most things solid. The only habitable band would be the thin twilight zone between the two extremes, and it would migrate slowly as the planet orbited the Sun. But before you even worry about setting up camp in that narrow belt, there's another problem: Earth's magnetic field. The rotation of our molten iron core helps generate that field. Stopping Earth's spin could weaken or even collapse it over time, leaving the surface exposed to much higher levels of solar and cosmic radiation. Surviving would mean underground shelters, thick shielding, and possibly learning to enjoy life as a mole person. Now, if you're wondering whether humans could somehow prepare for this, the short answer is no. The energy required to stop Earth instantly is beyond anything humanity could ever produce. It's the equivalent of billions of hydrogen bombs going off at once. And the side effects would be, well, planet reshaping is not an exaggeration. The crust itself would feel the shock. Earthquakes would erupt worldwide, volcanoes would awaken, and tectonic plates would lurch as stresses redistributed. The irony is that after all this chaos, the winds, the flooding, the temperature extremes, Earth would keep on orbiting the Sun just fine. It would look perfectly normal from space, except for the lack of clouds, oceans where they used to be, and maybe that strange shiny surface where all the cities used to stand. From a cosmic point of view, it's just another rock in space, minding its own business. But from our point of view, well, it would be the day the world didn't just stop for you, it stopped with you. Subscribe for more interesting